Imagine having like a super smart assistant.
Yeah.
Someone who could write code for you, answer your toughest questions, even craft creative stories. That's the promise of AI chatbots, and honestly, it's pretty mind-blowing. But with so many of them popping up, how do you even know where to start?
Yeah, it's a crowded field out there. Choosing the right tool can be overwhelming.
Exactly. So we're going behind the scenes today of the AI chatbot arena. We'll be comparing three major players: ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, and that newcomer Grok from Elon Musk.
A lot of buzz around that one.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll be breaking down this fascinating article we found. It's from securities.io, and it's titled ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok. How do the big three compare?
Sounds like a good one.
By the end of this deep dive, you'll have all the insights you need to pick the best AI assistant for your needs, whatever they are.
Consider this your cheat sheet to navigating the wild world of AI chatbots.
I love that. Okay, so before we get into the specifics, can you give us just like a super quick overview of what AI chatbots are and why everyone's making such a fuss about them?
At their core, AI chatbots are basically sophisticated computer programs. They're trained on massive amounts of data. This lets them understand and respond to human language in a way that feels, remarkably natural.
It's kind of freaky how natural it feels sometimes.
I know, right? It's like you're talking to a real person.
Totally.
Think of them as like digital conversationalists, capable of holding a conversation, generating text, translating languages. They can even write different kinds of creative content.
Yeah, I've seen some wild stuff out there. It's incredible how fast this tech is evolving.
It really is.
What are some of the things driving this rapid progress?
One is the sheer volume of data that's available now. We can use this to train these AI models. Another is just the advancements in computing power. This allows for faster processing and much more sophisticated algorithms. What's really fascinating to me, though, is that these tools are constantly learning and improving.
They're getting smarter by the day.
That's what makes this field so exciting to follow.
I know, it's changing so fast. It feels like every week there's some new breakthrough being announced. Okay, let's start with the chatbot that really kicked off this whole craze, ChatGPT.
The OG.
What makes it so unique? What makes it stand out?
Well, ChatGPT has a few advantages going for it. First, it was developed by OpenAI, and it was really among the first to really capture the public's imagination.
Yeah, I remember when it first came out, everyone was talking about it.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And second, its training data set was enormous.
Yeah.
This gives it a remarkable ability to understand context and generate human-like responses. And it's really good at logical reasoning.
So it can actually think for itself.
In a way, yeah, it's a very powerful tool for problem solving and data analysis.
Wow.
And let's not forget about its coding skills. People rave about its ability to generate clean, error-free code. It can even give you explanations for the code it writes.
So you're saying it can basically do my job for me?
Well, maybe not your whole job,
Okay, good. I was starting to get a little worried.
but it can definitely help you with certain tasks.
So it sounds like ChatGPT is kind of a jack of all trades. But are there any areas where it falls short?
That's a good question. While ChatGPT is definitely versatile, it's not perfect.
Mm.
For example, it can sometimes generate responses that are incorrect or even nonsensical,
So it's not always right.
especially when it's dealing with very specialized or niche topics.
Okay, so it has its limitations.
And there have been some discussions online about a potential decline in quality since around June 2023,
Really? I hadn't heard that.
leading some users to question the value of the paid subscription.
Interesting. So even the front runner has to keep innovating to stay ahead of the curve. Speaking of new players, let's move on to Grok, Elon Musk's entry into the chatbot arena. It's definitely generating a lot of buzz, particularly with its connection to Twitter.
Yeah, that's a big part of its appeal.
What are your thoughts on that approach?
Well, Grok's connection to real-time Twitter data is definitely one of its most unique features. It's designed to be witty and irreverent.
So it has a personality.
Yeah. Which can be engaging for some users, but others might find it a bit off-putting. The reliance on Twitter data raises some interesting questions, though.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. What kind of impact does that real-time data have on its responses?
Well, that's what makes Grok so fascinating. It means it's constantly learning and adapting to the latest trends and conversations happening on Twitter. So on the one hand, this gives it a really unique ability to stay current, provide up-to-the-minute information. But on the other hand, it also raises concerns about potential bias and the possibility of it reflecting the sometimes, chaotic nature of Twitter discourse.
That's true. Twitter can be a bit of a Wild West sometimes.
Exactly.
So it seems like a high-risk, high-reward strategy. How does Grok stack up against ChatGPT in terms of capabilities, specifically in things like creative writing, logical reasoning, and coding?
That's where the comparison gets really interesting. According to the article, Grok is still lagging behind ChatGPT in those areas. While it definitely shows promise, it needs further development to match the capabilities of its more established rival. It seems like Grok's focus on personality and real-time information might be coming at the expense of some of those core functionalities.
That makes sense. So ChatGPT still holds the crown for versatility, but Grok brings this really unique real-time element to the table.
Right.
Now let's talk about Google's contender, Gemini. It's Google, so you know they're bringing serious resources and expertise to the game. What do we need to know about it?
Absolutely. Gemini is particularly interesting because it represents Google's second attempt in the chatbot market. Their previous chatbot, Bard, didn't quite meet expectations.
Oh yeah, I remember Bard. What makes Gemini different?
Well, for one, it's available in 3 versions, Nano Pro and Ultra. The Ultra version is the one that's been making headlines. It's got some pretty impressive benchmark results, especially in creative writing. But what really sets Gemini apart is its seamless integration with the entire Google ecosystem.
Given how deeply ingrained Google is in all of our digital lives, that integration could be a major advantage. What about its performance in other areas, though? Are there any weaknesses we should be aware of?
That's where things get a little more nuanced. Despite excelling in creative writing and some other tasks, Gemini seems to struggle with math and logic-based queries. It will occasionally produce results that are either inaccurate or inconsistent. And it's also faced some criticism for generating biased responses, which is something that Google is actively trying to address, but it really highlights the challenges of developing AI that is both powerful and unbiased.
It's a tough balance to strike, for sure. It's clear that each of these chatbots has its own unique strengths and weaknesses. But at the end of the day, what matters most is how they perform in the real world.
Right. So let's hear what actual users are saying about their experiences with these tools. Let's start with ChatGPT.
Great idea. User feedback gives us really valuable insights into how these chatbots function in everyday scenarios. So for example, we came across this one Reddit user who commented that ChatGPT is still my go-to across all categories. And this really highlights the fact that ChatGPT has benefited from being out in the world from the start, being a consumer-facing service from day one.
That real-world experience definitely gives it an edge. What about Grok? Any interesting user insights about how it's performing?
We found one user who directly compared Grok and ChatGPT for creative writing tasks. They found that Grok's responses were a bit hit or miss. While it could generate witty and engaging content at times, it wasn't as consistent as ChatGPT. It seems that its reliance on that real-time data might be impacting the reliability of its output for certain tasks. So consistency seems to be a key differentiator here.
Yeah, it seems like it.
What are developers saying about their experiences with Gemini?
Well, we found a comment from a developer who said that Gemini Ultra has completely changed how they work. They specifically praised its ability to understand their requirements very accurately and deliver results efficiently, which ultimately saved them a lot of development time. It seems like Gemini's integration with existing workflows is a big win for some users.
It sounds like Gemini is winning over some developers with its efficiency and integration capabilities, but I imagine there are dissenting voices as well.
Right.
No, not everyone's going to love it.
Oh, of course. It's important to remember that user experiences can vary widely. For example, we found another comment from a user who expressed some disappointment with Grok's research capabilities. They felt that Grok's responses often lacked depth and nuance, just kind of providing surface-level information that wasn't particularly helpful.
That's a good reminder that this tech is still pretty early on in its development. There's always going to be room for improvement. So, based on everything we've discussed so far, which chatbot comes out on top in this comparison?
Well, according to that Securities.io article, ChatGPT still seems to hold a slight edge in terms of overall versatility and performance, like across a range of tasks. It's like that reliable multi-tool you always keep in your backpack. It can handle most situations pretty well.
That makes sense given its head start and the massive amount of data it's been trained on.
Yeah.
However, it sounds like Gemini is a strong contender, especially for those who are already, deeply embedded in that Google ecosystem.
Precisely. Gemini's tight integration with other Google services is a significant advantage for those who really rely heavily on those Google products. Imagine having an AI assistant that can seamlessly interact with your Gmail, your calendar, even your drive. I mean, it really streamlines workflows and opens up some really interesting possibilities.
It sounds like a productivity powerhouse, especially for those who pretty much live and breathe Google. But what about Grok? Does its unique approach with the real-time Twitter data, give it a fighting chance to catch up to these giants?
That's the big question, isn't it? Well, Grok's ability to tap into like the pulse of Twitter is definitely intriguing. Um, the article suggests that it still has some catching up to do
Yeah.
in terms of that core functionality and performance. Whether its focus on personality and real-time information will be enough to make it a true competitor, I guess only time will tell.
It's a fascinating race to watch, and it seems like the boundaries of AI are being pushed further every single day. It really makes you wonder what the future holds for these chatbots.
Absolutely. This is just the beginning of a technological revolution. We're really just starting to glimpse the potential of AI. In fact, the article even mentions the arrival of Claude 3, which is another powerful chatbot entering the fray.
Wow, so there's even more competition on the horizon. It's a dynamic and rapidly evolving landscape, that's for sure. With so many options, how can our listeners even begin to decide which AI assistant is the right fit for their needs? It must be super overwhelming for someone who's, just starting to explore this world.
Yeah, it can definitely feel like navigating a maze out there,
Hmm.
but the key is to really think about your individual priorities and how you actually plan to use the chatbot. There's no one-size-fits-all answer here. It's a bit like choosing the right tool for a specific job. You wouldn't use a hammer to screw in a light bulb.
I love that analogy. So if you're looking for a versatile all-rounder that excels in a wide range of tasks, ChatGPT might be a good place to start.
Right. If you're primarily interested in things like, generating different creative text formats or summarizing factual topics or even just doing some basic coding, ChatGPT is definitely a strong contender.
And for users who are, deeply integrated into that Google ecosystem and really value seamless integration, Gemini seems like a natural choice.
Absolutely. If you're already using Google Workspace or other Google services extensively, Gemini's ability to interact with those tools could be a total game changer in terms of efficiency and productivity.
And what about Grok? When might that be the right choice for someone?
If you're drawn to Grok's personality and you're kind of intrigued by its real-time connection to Twitter, it might be worth exploring. However, it's important to keep in mind its limitations, in terms of that core functionality and the potential for bias in its responses. It's essential to approach it with, discerning eye.
So experimentation is key. Trying out different chatbots and seeing which one best aligns with your workflow and your preferences. That seems like a smart approach.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And a lot of these chatbots offer free trials or limited free access, so you can get a feel for their capabilities before you commit to a paid subscription. It's like taking a test drive before you buy a car.
It's crucial to remember that this deep dive is really just a starting point. We're providing you with a snapshot of the current state of the AI chatbot landscape. But this is a field that's changing at lightning speed. What's true today might be outdated tomorrow. So it's vital to stay informed and keep exploring.
Exactly. The Securities.io article that we've been discussing offers some really valuable insights, but it's essential to seek out, diverse perspectives
Yeah.
and to stay up to date on the latest developments. The AI world is constantly evolving. Continuous learning is really the key to navigating this exciting new frontier.
Speaking of learning, one thing that really struck me in the article was the author's statement that these AI chatbots are as good as their users. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a really profound statement. And it highlights the crucial role that we as human users play in shaping the effectiveness of these tools. AI chatbots are incredibly powerful, but their true potential is unlocked through human ingenuity and skillful interaction. It's up to us to ask the right questions, provide clear instructions, and critically evaluate the responses we receive. We need to learn to leverage their strengths while also understanding their limitations.
So it's really more of a partnership. The AI empowers us, but we also need to guide it effectively to achieve those best results. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we use it.
Precisely. Developing what we call AI literacy is becoming increasingly important. We need to understand how these tools work, their strengths and their weaknesses, and how to interact with them in a way that maximizes their potential.
It's a good reminder that even in this age of rapidly advancing technology, human ingenuity and critical thinking and adaptability are more important than ever. It's exciting to see how this collaborative relationship between humans and AI will continue to unfold.
Absolutely. We're really entering an era of unprecedented collaboration between humans and machines. And it's a journey filled with both incredible possibilities and challenges that will require really thoughtful navigation.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful, and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this complex and rapidly evolving topic. But one thing is clear, the world of AI chatbots is here to stay, and it's going to have a profound impact on how we live and how we work and how we interact with the world around us.
I completely agree. AI is a truly transformative technology with the potential to revolutionize countless aspects of our lives. It's really up to each of us to embrace the possibilities while also navigating the challenges with wisdom and foresight.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question to consider. As AI becomes increasingly integrated into our lives, how do you envision this technology impacting your specific field of work in the next 5 years?
And it's important to remember that the best way to really understand AI, and its potential impact, is to just experience it firsthand.
Hmm.
Don't be afraid to experiment, ask questions, and just see what these chatbots can do.
Yeah, that's such a great point. It's so easy to get caught up in all the hype or even the fear surrounding AI. But the best way to form your own opinion is to roll up your sleeves and just try it out for yourself.
Exactly. There's a certain level of comfort and familiarity that comes with actually using these tools. It demystifies the technology and helps you understand the strengths and limitations in a much more practical way. Plus, it's a lot of fun, to explore the creative possibilities.
I totally agree. I remember when I first started experimenting with ChatGPT, I was blown away by its ability to just generate different creative text formats, poems, code scripts, musical pieces, emails, letters, you name it, it could do it. It really was like having a whole team of creative collaborators at my fingertips.
I had a similar experience. It's amazing how these tools can spark creativity and help us push the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored the strengths and weaknesses of ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok. We've heard perspectives from real users, and we even pondered the broader implications of AI's rise. It's been a whirlwind tour of the AI chatbot landscape, and I really hope our listeners have come away with a deeper understanding of these powerful tools and the potential impact they're going to have on our world.
It's been a pleasure diving deep into this topic with you. It's a conversation that deserves to be continued as the field continues to evolve, because it's moving at an incredible pace.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this journey of discovery. We encourage you to keep exploring, this fascinating world of AI and to share your thoughts and insights with us. Until next time, keep those minds curious and stay tuned for more deep dives into the most intriguing topics of our time.